Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to GRS F2 Mexico, where my sound's not working. Awesome. There we go, my sound is now working. Did I put everything up I wanted to? Yeah, okay. So, F2. Really good commentating from myself. Who's going to be first out on track and get the enjoyment of me going on board with them? David Hoy. Very nice. And I can bet you right now that's Mitch directly behind him. And if it's not, then yeah, okay, good. Didn't even get time to say something stupid. It is Mitch there. Anyways, we are here in F2, and we have a pretty interesting championship fight at the moment. So, currently leading the championship is Caleb White in the Alfa Romeo, the one on Xbox here. Is he leaving the garage? I don't think that's him. I think that's his teammate, who is 2 points behind in the championship currently, Anson. So both Alfa Romeos fighting for the driver's title. And then you've also got Roger Well in the AlphaTauri, who is 5 points behind with 2 rounds to go, and the final round will be a sprint race. So the title can't be decided today. So that's going to be interesting. It's going to have to go down to next week anyways, which means we are going to have a final round title decider in F2 once again. Whereas in F1 we don't get that, sadly. But anyways, I'm board with David for the first lap of the day. Let's hope it's not a bunch of invalidations today, as David had quite a few of those yesterday, to be fair to him. But I'm sure he'll be looking to improve on that. But yeah. Coming down towards turn 1 then, braking about where the barrier changes advertisement. Very good analysis that is. 4th gear through the first complex of corners, open up the DRS again, double detection zone here in Mexico, which means you get it on the main straight and a second straight in sector 1, goes a bit deep into turn 4, manages to go alright through 5 though, then into the double squared off hairpin. It's an interesting corner to be fair, and now into the middle sector, into the S's where it's stuck in it. Right, left, back to the right and back to the left once more, keeping it on the edge of track limits. Very nice from David. And this is already looking like a storming lap. Into the final sector, 4th gear, braking just at the start of the curb there. 4th gear again, riding a bit of that curb because you can. And then 5th gear for the final corner just to get the traction, and it, even with that, still struggles badly on the traction. And it's a 16.6, so he's already beaten pole from yesterday, despite the obvious time loss there. We jump on board with Hugo in the Red Bull, with cars moving out the way nicely. Into the final corner, he's going to get on the Perro in 5th, which is pretty much what everyone will do if they're using no traction, as Hugo also does a 16.6. Next up we have Jan Nader in the Aston Martin. There's actually another Aston Martin of George Parr just going to the line. As Anson goes 3rd on his first run, and Jan goes up to P4. Interestingly enough, was everything I said about the championship fight correct? Yes. And Alfa Romeo have won the constructors as well, so there you go. Anyways, who have we got out there? Alfred Monk coming across the line, P4 for the Williams. Lewis Pierce is out there, just invalidates as I go on board with him. That's one way to curse him. What about Adam Lapage in the Haas then? He's got no battery. It's 57.6 middle sector. Not really sure how that is, as he's got Lewis just in front of him. And has somehow invalidated there, yeah. Well done, Adam. Anyways, Lassie in the Ferrari, once upon a time was leading the championship, I believe. But that hasn't been the case today. However, he's won this season early on. China or Singapore? I have to get standings up here. I can't remember this off the top of my head very well. But the Ferrari driver has had a mix of bad fortune throughout the season, to be fair. He's up to the line, P8 for Lassie. Not really much of a qualifying driver. Normally comes alive during the race. And that would be strength as Lucas Rudd goes up to 8th. How's Mitch doing? Almost 2 seconds up in the Red Bull. So he backed off very early on his last lap then. As he's completely mounting the curves, and the traction's going to help him out quite a bit. P9 for Mitch. Just behind his F3. Well, the new F3 potential champion. We do need Stuart Verdict still. But there's a chance that Lucas Rudd will be crowned champion. And at the moment it is looking that way, I'll tell you that. In F3. But, yeah. Tier 2 standings. So another person who can actually still win the title. Oh, there's actually people who still can win the title from here. Theo Smith would require an absolute miracle to win the title at this point. But miracles can happen, I'll tell you that. Same with Hugo. Hugo would also need a miracle to win the title. He's currently on pole, so I mean, he's doing some of the work as the Alfa Romeos are doing what they need to do in 3rd and 4th. Anson currently ahead of his teammate. That's going to be interesting. And then there's also Hawelski in the Alpine, who has, shall we say, a more reasonable task if he wants to win the title. It's only a 36-point gap to the lead, which is still a lot, with a maximum of 60 available, but it's more feasible, especially if he was to go and win today's race. And if he did do so, then it could be a 4-way fight into the final round, which, yeah, as David Hoy's retired, there. Right. I don't know how he's done that, but Roger Wells on a lap. Roger Well obviously is going to be going, as David's already on the screen saying he doesn't want to talk about it. Or are you trying to heat your tyres up and spun? Although, to be fair, you're probably still going to qualify top 10, I'm guessing. As here comes Roger Well. Solid middle sector. 57.4, 2/10 quicker than Adam's invalidated lap. Maybe. So, by maybe you mean, yes I did, I am silly. Got ya. Although Adam on that lap didn't have battery, so we'll see what the time's going to be from Roger Well, P6, behind the Alfa Romeos. And considering Roger Well is the lowest currently, that might not be where you want to be. Grass may have been involved, that sounds exciting. As Theo Smith, right, yep, 16-0. I mean, if you want to try win the championship from 54 points back, that is what you've got to do. You have got to go and stick yourself 6/10 quicker than the rest of the field. And Anson, minor invalidation. Here, let's go in. Never mind, Theo is huge. There's Pierce is going in the McLaren. I'm just going to keep the standings up. Actually, no, I'm not, because that's going to use a lot of my battery. I'll just rely on me remembering stuff. I can remember all the gaps just about. Don't ask me to name them, because I definitely won't remember them for longer than 5 minutes. Anyways, Adam Napier just done a storming lap of a 1 minute 52.8, and speaking of a storming lap, Jan Nader's got 777 at the jackpot today with a 16.777. Very nice. And maybe you should go Put some money on a slot machine. He might win big today. You never know with that sort of lap time. Anyways, I should stop promoting gambling and talk more about the qualifying session. Lewis PS goes to 12. Caleb's improving. Purple middle sector. And Caleb's looking to have a good start here. And let's see if that can be how it finishes. As up to the line, P2 for the Alfa Romeo. That is important, shall we say, for him. In the current situation, as that gives him the upper hand over his rivals currently in 6th and 8th. However, a lot can happen in the race. As George Parsh jumped up to 6th in the Aston Martin, 1,000th behind his teammate. Talk about two people being on the same pace, there you go. But Anson is going again. Can he join the Aston Martins in the high 7.7s? Maybe a 7.76 or a 7.79? Would be quite fun if anyone wants to join them. But the likelihood of that is very low. And if Anson was on the 7.80 right now, that'd be even more brilliant. Someone would just need to slot in that gap. As Anson is not improving in Sector 1. But there is still 2 sectors to go, as Habelski's gone to 2nd. It's also important for him to get a good result. Being 36 points behind in the championship, it's still feasible for him to win it if an absolute nightmare occurs for everyone else. And as long as he actually outscores all of them by 2 points, then yeah, he can actually win this, to be fair. It'll take a miracle, but he can do it. As Anson doesn't seem to be improving on this lap, we'll see if he can change that in this final sector, but at the moment it's not looking like he's going to be able to, and he does go into the pit lane. Hugo. How's Hugo doing? I don't know, because it didn't give me a sector time when I went on board, but let's have a look at this middle sector. Curb carries him onto a very nice line through the middle sector. Oh, he's ruined it. Minimal invalidation. And he was 4 tenths up, to be fair to him. That could have been challenging for Yosemite. There's Alfred Munster onto a 16.671. Decent time. Mitch. I hope he's not going with that amount of battery. I go off board with him and just assume that he's not doing that, because otherwise I'm disappointed. My day is ruined. I don't know. Let's go on board with Adam. Currently, the best part of... Oh, here we go. 36.8 seconds off of pole. So if he can find 36.8 seconds, then he might be able to get pole, but that seems like a mountain of a task, but it probably isn't. Anyways, on board with the Hash driver. He had a lot of spins yesterday. He'll be looking to have a few less spins today, and that might help him into turn 1. 3rd gear up to 4th. Not particularly attacking stuff so much, and then choosing to stay on the curb a long time on the exit. He is slightly lagging, also down in Sector 1, so those 36 seconds aren't looking very feasible. Surely it must be all the time. Oh, that's why he's 36 seconds. To be fair, if he keeps going on this lap, he could probably still improve it, but I'm not interested. Lasse has got the Haas in his sight. Hopefully the Haas moves, as Lasse is the best part of almost half a second up. And luckily for Lasse, Adam does move. There's a random gap from P9 to 10 that feels kind of strange. I don't know. It's like the grid's in 2 halves, and then you've just got Adam and Theo sort of just there, as Lasse bridges the gap a bit and goes up to P10 for now. As Lucas Rudd starts a lap in the Mercedes. Let's see what the Mercedes driver can do. F3 maybe champion, we'll call him. AKA that could be confirmed today, tomorrow, the day after that. But probably not longer than that. And he's actually down in Sector 1. Everyone seems to be struggling with finding more time in Sector 1. However, the other two it's actually Sector 3 where people are finding the most time on their runs. There's a Ferrari on the racing line. Just about moves, but Lucas has spun. I saw Anderson was on the lap. Anderson is definitely not improving on that lap. So we're going but with Pavic in the Williams. Currently towards the back in this session. However, I think he can go forward, definitely. We'll just have to see, I guess. As coming towards the end of Sector 1 now. And he's improving. Which is nice to see. He's now into the middle sector. He's got a bit of traffic ahead of cars on 8 laps. However, Roger seems to be taking the 8 lap quite quickly, so that might not be an issue for the Williams. As that's close, and that's also close. And not what you want if you're in Pavic's situation. But I think Roger wanted to move off, but then there was a Red Bull where he wanted to move off, but then the Red Bull almost merged back onto the track because the runoff ran off. And Pavic, I felt bad for him having to see that in this final sector, but he still managed to get a good improvement and get up to P10. Once again, bridging that gap that's separating the two parts of the grid, as we do only have 40 question mark seconds left to go. 37 there. Yeah, Smith's going again in the Mercedes. But we're going to sort of just focus on everyone who's finishing their lap. Anson's had a few warm-up laps, shall we say. Caleb's also going again. A few people entering the final sector. Let's have a look at Caleb's going to be doing the first sector. We'll jump through a few people. As they come round to the line, I think the first person who's... Sam's not going to make it again. And he's not got the battery either, so... As we see someone jump up, Alfred Monk's gone to third. I think Mitch has invalidated. So Lewis Pierce will be the first to make the line then. Jan Nader did not improve in the Aston. Sam has also stayed in 14th place. Lewis Pierce to the line then. Where can he go? It's going to be P10. Caleb White a 10th up at the moment. Can he get himself onto the front row of the grid is the question. That's an interesting question. That has multiple answers. Will the answer be yes? No, not quite. He actually goes even on his time. As Hugo to the line. P2 for Hugo. Rogerwell stays in 13th. So Rogerwell's going to be doing this one the hard way then. As Alfred Monk's doing a bit of lawn mowing. And Lapage gets a lap in. 35.8 second improvement goes to 12. Lucas Rudd's invalidated. And like I said, Alfred was doing a bit of lawn mowing up. As Anson's going to start like. So the championship contenders aren't really where they'd want to be. But everyone who's chasing with a slight chance is first, second and third. This is going to be interesting. So Theo Smith, Hugo Nelson, Habalski. Habalski has to catch up 36. Hugo 52, Theo 54. So they've gone the opposite order there. Caleb's probably in the best spot right now, in 5th. Yeah, this could be. Yeah, a lot can happen. A lot can happen here. We'll just have to see, won't we? Balski could be in an alright spot if Caleb doesn't have the best of starts. But the grid is close. Top 12 are all within a second. Top 14 are pretty much within a second, to be fair. As Theo Smith's got some pace at this track. And if he wants that outside shot at this title, I mean, Caleb can't actually finish 5th. Caleb has to finish 9th or 10th. Anson would have to finish like 8th, and Roger would have to finish 7th at the highest, and they'd all have to not score next week. So this could potentially turn into a 6-way fight if something ridiculous was to happen today. Although actually, does Hugo have to win today? If he got an 18, then he could get another 34, which is 52. So, but on countback, I don't know. It's possible for any of them. If it was Theo Smith first, Hugo second with a fastest lap, Hebelski third, and the other 3 didn't score, then we'd be going into a ridiculous season finale, essentially. Hebelski would be 21 points behind, but that's catchable with a sprint. I don't know. I'm just not going to ask questions until something happens, but qualifying is suggesting some stuff. Anyways, to the grid we'll go. As it's turning on the lights now. We can't hear them for some reason, and the lights are out, and we are away here in Mexico, as it looks like a good start from Theo Smith. However, an even better start from Hugo Nelson. Alfred Monk also in the Williams has got a great start, and he's going to be going for the lead of the race into turn 1. There's going to be a bit of a collision with the Red Bull there as Theo Smith trying to hang it round. Oi, that was a bit close. As here's at the front, everyone just in for position. Hugo gets ahead early on. David Hoy's up to 4th in the Haas. How's he ended up there? P3 now. I don't even know how he's done that one. Caleb fighting. Roger Wells up to 7th already. He's on the charge. He knows he needs these points today. As Anson's down to last. What's happened to Anson? And he's not got damage, it looks like, but that's not a good start for the Alfa Romeo, the other Alfa Romeo. There's a lot of them, as all the drivers who've had good race starts on the hard tyres. There's a spin of Lewis Pearce in the McLaren, as everything's kicking off early on here. Anson went mediums as well. It's not worked out for him. Hebelski looking for a move on Caleb White here. I think he's going to have to go for that if he wants these softs to work out for him. As Hugo at the front is a second ahead already. He's on a charge here. As he knows that, I mean, it's technically still possible. 52 points to catch is difficult. But he could get that gap down to something like 27. Which doesn't seem impossible. And with the sprint, you never know. As Alfred and Caleb White were fighting there. Hebelski also was getting involved, but seems to have made a mistake, and that's going to invite Roger Well potentially, who is fine to just sit where he is now, if anything. He's not losing too much to Caleb, but it would be better if he could beat the Alfa Romeo for him. As George Part is close. Everyone's a bit head to tail at the moment. I think it's going to be quite a tense race start, I will be honest. Anson's definitely going to be feeling the pressure a bit, I will say, the Alfa Romeo, as here comes Hebelski trying to put pressure on the other Alfa Romeo of Caleb White, and is he going to go for a move? The answer is no, he's not going to send one, as this yellow flags as Lucas run into the wall, and it's going to be the Mercedes driver dropping down the order, as George Parr and Lasse Rasmussen are side by side here. And Mitch is following right behind these two, and he's going to slip a move up the inside of the Ferrari driver. There's some good fighting going on at the back here, I will say. A bit of a gap is starting to form, however, they're all jostling over P8 at the moment. A few points for them. As Mitch is going to look for a move. Lasse is also going to go for the move as well. And they're going to be close together, almost 3 wide into the corner. Mitch decides to slightly back out there, as he's going to go for the better exit, and I think he might just about get up into P9. As Adam Lapage is also bulleting his way here on those soft tyres. but that has seemed to have not worked too well. Jan Nader trying to go back past the Haas driver. Can he manage to get it done? I don't think he can, not quite. As the DRS is now enabled, so let's get the telemetry on, as that will be nice to see there. And let's see how everyone's doing. Hugo's maintaining that gap, and Theo Smith's also pulling another gap, so these two are on it at the moment. As Roger Bell struggling to get into that DRS, it seems. However, he's got no one behind him. Roger Bell, while he doesn't have DRS, he's in a good spot on the track. He's not got anyone around him to worry about. As is a yellow flag for Lewis Pierce. Alfred Monk's going to go for the move for third place here on David Hoy. As the Williams goes deeper into the corner and covers off any potential switchback that could have occurred. As Caleb White's now going to go for a move on David Hoy as well as his yellow flag. Someone's reigned. That seems to be Sam, as Anson's seems to have got a bit of grass on his tyres, so something has happened potentially to the Alfa Romeo driver, which is not nice when he's had this sort of start, as there's a spinner of Jacob Habelski into the barriers, and that's not what he needs, but he brings out a virtual safety car here to neutralise the playing field for a bit. Wonder if anyone around him got caught up in that. Seems like no one's got damage visually, although David has dropped a big gap, so he might have slammed on the anchors to avoid the Alpine, maybe, I'm not sure. But everyone can just have a breather, think about their race strategy, think about their plan for the rest of the race and what they're going to do here. As we are probably going to be getting restarted shortly, as everyone seems to be going flat out there in the straight. Is it going to restart before turn 1? Maybe just disconnected. Zawelski's into the pit lane. I know it's not going to restart before turn 1. It might restart on the main straight for some people though. Is that going to be the case? It is, and there's a drive-through penalty for Alfred Monk. As here comes Roger Well on David Hoy. And this is an important move. Roger Well is going to be on the inside of the Haas, and David doesn't want any of it, it seems, as there's a spin for Sam who's here in the Ferrari as Lepage is back in the session. Now we have this. We have Roger Well and Caleb separated by 3 tenths. This is going to get interesting now, I feel. Caleb having a bit of a slide in front. However, the slidey setup's helping him out a bit as Mitch is into a wall. Has no damage. No, he didn't hit a wall actually, it seems. There's, ooh, Roger Well's gone off track a bit. What's happened there is Alfred launches a bollard across the track. There's a lot of yellow flags popping up here and there. It's difficult to keep up, in all honesty. Something that's not difficult to keep up with is this battle at the front though, as Theo Smith is going to try to take the lead of the race from Hugo Nilsson here. And these two, if either of them want the title, they have to win the race. So, I mean, this fight's going to be an important one to say the least, shall we say. But a bit of a train starting to form there, behind Caleb, which probably isn't the sort of pressure he wants to be under at the moment. I think he's fine with just having Roger Well there, and to have multiple cars is not ideal in the situation he is in at the moment. So, I don't know, things could get interesting as there's a penalty for Lewis Pierce for speeding into the pit lane, and also a track limit penalty for Alfred Monk, who has to serve that drive-through soon, so he'll probably be into the pit lane. Good news for Caleb is he may get the RS here in the final sector. Depends though. He just needs a good clean final sector, as that is a good start. Into the hairpin. That's also a good start. But did he get it? I don't think he did. As Alfred does go into the pit lane. Roger Well might also have missed 8, you know. No, Roger Well's not missed 8, but Caleb's not going to have it either. As in this fight for the lead, Hugo not really interested. Rogerwell's got some straight line speed in that AlphaTauri. Rogerwell's gone for the race setup here. That could be crucial as Theo Smith's gone off the track there. Naughty. You can actually abuse the exit of turn 3 there and get away with it, although it can be reported by fellow competitors to the stewards, where they'll add warnings if you didn't get one. Hugo, I don't know what he was doing there, he went a bit all over the curbs and it didn't look ideal for him. Anson's back up to 9th, as Sam has retired in the pit lane, and Havelski is round at turn 2, and that's another VSC. Yeah, Havelski's missing another front wing, so 2 Havelski front wing VSC so far. There's a lot of tension in this race. It just feels like nothing's really getting going how people would want it to. Like, everyone's sort of on edge a bit, just... It's all just separating. It's quite calm before the storm, shall we say. Oh my god, there's a Ferrari in the middle of the straight. That's safe, as now we got 2 cars barreling towards the Ferrari in the middle of the straight, and that's Rogerwell getting past Caleb. That's important. That's very important. As there's yellow flags all over the place, there's cars retiring, it's a bit of a mess. As thankfully one of the cars got out of the way, the other McLaren looks like it's not going to be a problem for anyone else, to be fair, as Alfred Monk putting pressure on Mitch in the Red Bull. He's actually got the GRS, so should be able to defend this one unless the Williams is going to go for an almighty dive, which he's not. As next race is going to ride a lot on avoiding time penalties, I think, as well. Late safety cars are definitely something we'll probably see. I'm surprised you haven't seen the full safety car yet, but it is only 2 drivers retiring in the pits. And just a VSC and 2 VSCs for a bit of debris. Just clearing off the front wing out the way as Caleb's right on the back of Rogerwell. And this is where Rogerwell's setup needs to come into play. And I'll tell you, his setup is massively coming into play. And being ahead of Caleb right now is crucial. Caleb, if he put the battery on, might have been able to get a move. Or maybe he just wants to save that. Just sit behind Rogerwell and go for a move later on. Although he's got a good exit. It's actually, yeah, Rogerwell's got a better exit. Rogerwell looked like he had a bit of a moment, then corrected himself quite well. As Lapidge sort of cuts the corner there. As told you, Dutchy's going to win the championship. Well, Ian, this situation's an interesting one, to be fair, as these two at the front, who are 5 seconds ahead, they have to win both races to win the championship. But they are both out of the championship if these two stay in 3rd and 4th where they are right now. Anson's down in 8th. And Havelski, who's 36 points behind, so he's 4th, is down in 15th. He essentially need at least 2nd place in every single race. And he was running, I think, like P4 or 5 before he spun twice and broke 2 front wings. And he might be a lap down soon. As his yellow flags, that is Lasse in the Ferrari. As Anson is right on the back of George Parr here, actually. Oh wait, George is racing. I wasn't. Arjen, you've won the F1 championship. George has scored 3 points all season. I think Hugo had scored more than that before he dropped down. Speaking of Hugo, he's going for a move here. On the outside of Theo Smith. It's going to be tight. Hugo's going to have a bit of a compromised line, but he's going to get the move done. Anson moves past George Parr up into 7th place. And that's going to drop George Parr down to 8th. As Oh, that's a corner cut from Caleb. But Rogerwell's going to love seeing that one in his rear mirrors. He's going to be like, oh yeah, that's a warning, thank you. 2 more of those, please. And that's exactly what Rogerwell's going to be ordering. Just a few of those from Caleb where he seems to have a few bits of struggles. He's getting on the battery early, but just the exits from Rogerwell are just huge. But he's not got battery. That's going to invite Caleb. And he's definitely got an advantage in the straight line speed here. He's going to go past the AlphaTauri. It's going to be close. Rogerwell's going to try hang it in there. Oh, there's contact! And that's Caleb sort of on a half spin. As David Hoy's going to move up into 4th place now. Ooh. That's interesting. Hopefully they play nicely and don't do that anymore. But I wonder what the Shear's going to think of that one, shall we say. I wonder if Liam's watching this, knowing that carnage could unfold, although at the moment it doesn't look awful for him yet. Although I think the slightest of things will be reports in this at this point. As here comes David Hoy. Onto the back of Rogerwell now. Caleb's struggling a bit. Interesting. Mitch has got a penalty. Woo! So, Caleb's in to the pit lane. And swaps over to mediums. Clearly, there's something different being tried here from the Alfa Romeo. Maybe a safety car prediction, or something of the sort, as David Hoy's up to 3rd place. And I'm sure Rogerwell's going to feel about that one, to be fair. Oh, Rogerwell's just gave him a bit of a tap. Rogerwell, not afraid to get close to people, shall we say. Hanson's currently P6 in this race. I'm sure he'll be alright with that. As Lucas breaks around the outside of Caleb White, and there's Philip Pavic involved in this as well. This is not why Caleb would have wanted to come out. He's got a 3-second time penalty as well. Oh, this is not ideal. This is very not ideal for the Alfa Romeo. And this is going to be costing him a lot of time now. Meanwhile, Rogerwell is in the DRS of David, and they are cruising. They're not fighting each other too much. They're not trying to murder each other. They're just swapping places. And David backs out before the corner, and it seems like David just wants to use this to try and drag himself away. As here comes Anson round the outside of Lassie, and that is the move for 5th place in this race. And he can now get on his way. How much he's going to be able to close though is the question. As, he's going to need to do quite a lot. I'm receiving messages. Woo! Always a great sign, that is. Message requests. I'll have a look in a bit. Doesn't seem anything urgent right now, but yeah. Let's keep it on going. Have I missed anything? Yeah, you've missed a lot. At the start, it's been quite recently. We've had 2 VSCs from Hebelski, oh my Lassie. But Caleb's having a nightmare. He's had to pit twice after being he had contact with Rogerwell, who's currently 3rd. Controversially, shall we say, as they are fighting for the title. And Anson, after being last on lap 1, has recovered to P5 so far. And has some pace here in this race, so Anson could still be a factor somewhat. The way he's moved through the grid, he's committed. He's very committed to getting back into this one, I will say. Is Roger Well is looking in a good spot, although he's probably maybe got a penalty coming his way. He was like 2 or 3 laps ago at turn 1 or 2. You can have a look at it yourself if you want. It's definitely an interesting collision to go back and watch. As more people in the fight for the championship is Hebelski, who's in 15th. He's 36 points behind, so he needs just a race win. And these two at the front, who are fighting for the race win, whoever wins essentially needs to go on and win Brazil as well. And that's their only chance of winning, and it has to be a low-scoring race, which Roger Well could eliminate both Hugo and Theo today and make it only a 4-way fight into the final range. He could also eliminate Hebelski currently in the scenario we're in. It's interesting. There's a lot of factors in play in this race, considering the 6 drivers who can still win the championship, although I'd say it's mainly the 3 at the front. But yeah, it's quite a quiet race, but the action is where it needs to be, shall we say. As Theo Smith is just saving the battery up. I think he's happy to sit behind Hugo at the moment. He doesn't want to waste too many resources. Get into the pit lane, make sure he's got plenty of battery for the rest of the race, and go on a big attack towards the end at some point. Or just wait for a mistake from the Red Bull. We've seen a few from Hugo this season, whereas last season he only did that in Abu Dhabi. And like 1 or 2 other races. Theo Smith just getting dragged along by the DRS. He might even go for a move here without the battery use. But no, he's going to back 8. There's no need for him to send it really. He's in a comfortable spot. As Anson's closed in 7 tenths. Those mediums are 15 laps old, but yeah, the performance of them is huge. It'll definitely help the Alfa Romeo early on, but that will shift favours to the front 4. No safety car yet. Like I said, 2 VSCs. I think there's something looming over a crazy race end here, with a massive change in the pecking order, and something, so I always say, a bit controversial for the standings potentially, bringing us to a lovely final race where we'll probably have multiple people in the fight for the title, and we will have a great final race at Brazil with a sprint, just to invite more people potentially into that fight, since there'll be, well, 34 points on offer. Anyways, David is still just tailing Roger Well. He's regened 80% battery, and he's in a good spot for himself. Anson's staying out. He's enjoying the medium tyres, I'll tell you that. But yeah, so that's a spin for Pavic, as David Hoy has taken 3rd place back. And he's also cut turn 1 and got a penalty. Which will be music to Roger Well's ears as well. And he may even try going for the move back here on the Haas driver, and he is. He's going to use the resources he's got, and he wants that track position. I think he realises if there's a safety car, he'd rather have the track position. As I think him being behind the front 2 is very important for him, as with a safety car, Anson is right on his tail. And Anson's definitely going to be in attack mode if that is the case. Even he'll be on the hard tyres, but I think tyre compounds and all that in certain situations don't make much of an effect when people are driving the car with more than just the resources they're being given. David, I don't know if he's going to try on Roger Well again. I think he's realised that the AlphaTauri is definitely very aggressive over keeping the position. David's not a stupid driver. He'll pick his fight tactically. He's not even going to use the battery. He's just completely lifting. He doesn't want to fight Roger well. He doesn't want to be the cause of Roger Well's championship being affected. Although Anson is still closing. Those medium tyres are... yeah, the C3s are ridiculous. The sheer performance is unbelievable. And honestly, I think he's just staying gate based on the fact he knows that gap's still closing. He wants to use these tyres for as long as possible. And essentially mimic the strategy of the drivers in front, or maybe even go opposite. Theo Smith's doing a really good job at preserving the battery here, just driving a very clever race. The tactics involved from Theo are interesting, as we see a good fight here. The 4 drivers involved. Mitch going for a move on Pavic. Middle wheel banging, but nothing. Oh my! That's a bit of a dive. Oh! Oh no. Yeah, that's not ideal. Oh no, Pavic. Anyways, that fight for P10 is now going to swap to being between Lasse and Adam. It's Adam loving the middle sector, clearly, if you can't tell. The Aston Martins are really chilling at the moment. They normally... Aston Martin this season has been both drivers in a good position, safety car. They get absolutely murdered and end up near the back and score like 2 points. I mean, to score 14 here would be kind of huge for them. As we're just past the halfway point now, I'm interested to see when people are going to pit. Anson's still gaining another 3 tenths on that last lap. That might have been a warning though. But I think at this point he doesn't care, he can afford 2 warnings before he gets a penalty. So if that's the first one, then that's not an issue, as Roger Well's made a bit of a mistake. It's not going to cost him really anything to David as Theo Smith's into the pits. He's going for the undercut here in the Mercedes. Does Roger Well want to come in? No. David Hoy? No. Anson's in. What about the Astons? Actually, one of them will go earlier. No, they don't fancy it yet. I mean, lap 20 is probably a good... Actually, you should probably swap as early as possible in this race. And if you're on the mediums, you want to swap as late as possible to the hards. It'll be interesting to see how this is going to play out now. Where's Anson going to come out? In clean air? Yeah, good patch of clean air. That is important for him. Very important for him. As the lead at the front's 12.5 seconds, Hugo is cruising. I think he's going to box this lap. Just cover off the undercut. Should have gone earlier potentially. If you're in the lead, just pit first. Get on those mediums. They're not bad with the warm up here, to be fair. And the performance you get out of them, unmatched. As Hugo is going in there to the pit lane. Slowing down a lot. Doesn't want to get a speeding penalty. Don't blame him. Although Theo's come out in a great spot here. One of the Astons will pit this lap. And he'll have DRS to probably get past the other one. He'll probably be hoping that Jan goes in. Theo's also in. Roger was also in. And it is Jan who's going to pit. So I feel like Theo Smith's going to stick the battery on and go for it. Now, where's Hugo going to come out? Hugo's going to be ahead. Or is he? This could be tight. Theo Smith's going to have to go to the left here of George Part. Well, Theo's going to be ahead of Hugo. George is going to dive it though. Ooh, my. Bit close as George just moves for Hugo. He doesn't want to have another situation like he's just had. But that's going to help out Theo Smith quite a bit there, to be fair. What's the gap between Roger Well and Anson? 2.1. And Roger Well's still got a tyre warming. Jan's in P8 behind Lucas Rudd, who hasn't paid yet. Just sort of going on a long journey, same as David Hoy and George Part. But George got damage. Oh, George just got damage. That's not ideal. Not sure where he's picked that up. Caleb's in. David's in. Is Caleb going to be a lap? No, Caleb's already coming out of the pits. Good. Right, he's ideal for him. But Peter Smith sets the fastest lap and big pace on the mediums. George doesn't really have a choice whether or not he's pitting there. As he also gets a penalty for speeding into the pit lane. And he'll be going on to the medium tyres to the end. As here comes David out of the pit lane. Roger Wells ahead. And Roger Wells doesn't have to do the tyre warmer. That is another important factor in the race once again. There's a lot of those I'm hearing. Well, David's tyres are going to be a lot fresher. He's not going to have DRS. But this is going to help Anson out. If Anson can get in David's DRS, he can be dragged along by the Haas. And if the Haas has the pace to crawl back into Roger Well's DRS, problems for Roger Well. And Anson could even be in the best spot now. You just never know with this race. You really never know. It seems like David's got the tyres up to temp and Anson is losing a bit of time. I think he's going to go for one big push in the middle sector though. Is it enough? He's still about 3/10 out. Yeah, he's not going to get into that range. Someone who is in the range is Lapage of Lasse. These two have been fairly close for a while now. Not much is happening. The race is quiet. Which, I guess I could say it's a nice change from F3 and F2 recently, which have both been nothing but me staring into oblivion wondering what the hell is going on. Whereas this race, I've managed to be able to actually dissect it somewhat and not just be permanently confused about what I'm watching. But anyways, there's yellow flags. Oh, Roger Well's disconnected. Don't care if my game crashes, risking it for it all, but I hope Roger Well can get back in. That's not good. That is not good. Not good at all. I don't know if my invites work. That is the question. Roger Well's back in. My invites must work. Roger Well's AI just dump the battery. The AI needs to. But the AI is going to have DRS, and Roger Well's going to take over on the straight. No Zandvoort. No Johnny. Yes Zandvoort. But Anson's going to be close now. Roger Well's still not taking control though. I hope there's not an issue. I really hope there's not an issue. Roger Well's back in. Hugo's closing day in. Theo Smith. That's going to be tough for Roger Well. He needs to get back in the rhythm quickly. And not let Anson in the DRS, and that can be hard to do when you've just been kicked out the lobby. And yeah, he's had a bit of a snap there already. Anson can't quite get in the DRS though. Ooh, that is crucial. Roger needs to go and hope for no more disconnects now. But he's within penalty range of David Hoy. Still. for the podium. As well, we'll see. I don't know what to say over a lot of this race. I'm watching, and I'm just slowly taking everything in. As Alfred wasn't looking for a move. Lucas Rudd's also looking for a move. He's going to get to the outside, and he's going to brake, and they're going to be side by side, but Lucas is going to come out ahead. Two Danes fighting, and George Parr spinning. That means he's also got Lucas Rudd launching it on him. We saw Lucas make a move in the middle sector yesterday. That was pretty mental. He's not scared, I'll tell you that. He's not afraid to go for something. George Parr's also not afraid. There's a yellow flag. Philip Pavic has crashed. Safety car. Okay. Right. Okay. Okay. Right. This is where you start to say that a storm might be about to unfold here. Hugo can pit. Do you want softs? I think you want a fresh medium. I actually think you want a fresh medium. Go fresh mediums. Take the fresh mediums. They are really good at this track. Better than softs for that long, I think. You may lose it initially, but you haven't really got anyone on softs near you. Theo Smith stays out. Oh, not ideal, particularly. Right, so Hugo's gone for softs. Interesting. Theo's caught up to the safety car. David, softs. Rogerwell, softs. Anson, softs. Yeah, everyone's gone softs. I mean, 9 laps, 10 laps. I don't know. Softs, mediums. I'd have got mediums. I don't know. That's just me. They were good. Right. Enough of me checking my Discord. And more about the race. Here we go, shall we say. Things could get tasty. Caleb's back in this theoretically in some way, shape or form. He has to get up the grid, but I mean, he can get points. Just about. He just needs to hope for a calamity from these two, but yeah. George is in. His softs are going to be a bit nicer, but he's serving that penalty as well. Yeah, that's smart. Smart decision from him. Alright. This is the second lap under safety car, so it'll be in next lap no matter what. Caleb's in again. Mitch a lap down. Mitch is a lap down, yes. How do you end up a lap down when you weren't even a lap down? I don't know. Maybe he thought Theo Smith was going to pit, and then Theo Smith didn't pit, and then he's like, ah. Interesting. Depending on how long the safety car goes to, her softs might have been smarter, I don't know. I forgot that people were like very far behind. Caleb and George are on fresher softs. I don't know how much of a difference that's going to make. It's going to make more of a difference later on than straight away, but yeah. Let's see how this is going to play out. Theo's going to lead us away. I'm sure everyone's going to be trying to move into turn one. We know Roger Well's got cracked straight line speed, shall we say. It's probably a bit more than that. Right, 6 laps to go. Right, let's get ready for this. I'm mentally preparing myself. Safety car's going to be in this lap. Hopefully Caleb can catch. Yeah, I'll do it. Just about. But yeah. Actually, will he? It's going to be close, but it's going to be in this lap regardless because it's the 3rd lap. So when we go into the 1st sector. There we go. Right, here we go then. So you guys actually 3rd. You've got Mitch as a roadblock. That's going to create some interesting scenarios, shall we say. Here we go. I'm just worried for the amount of, oh my, a lot of collisions, shall we say. You probably might hear me say oh my a few times. I say it quite a lot when people crash normally, to be fair. On board with Theo Smith, he's going to go to the line. He's going to go to the line. People are alongside each other. This is going to be tight off the start. Alfred Monk's going for it, and he's going to be up to P5. Roger while trying to deploy the straight line speed. We've got 3 wide here. Anson's in the middle. This is not where he wants to be right now. He's backed out of that one. He doesn't want any of it. Roger going for P3 in this race, and he's going to be able to do so. Mitch needs to just move out the way in the Red Bull, and he is doing so, which is nice. Hopefully that shouldn't cause any issues, as we're going to see another 3 white moment coming down towards turn 4 here. It's going to be Anson braking later on the outside. He's got a 3-second time penalty, the Alfa Romeo has, and he's dropped down to 8th place. He's been forced across the curb, and this is everything's going wrong for him at the moment. Meanwhile, Rogerwell is just sort of cruising at the front. Everyone from 4th downwards, other than George Parsonage, got a penalty, as Caleb's also still not really been able to make progress so far. As there's a spinner of Adam Lankbridge. Nice 360 there from him, but he didn't manage to catch it this time round, as he always likes to brag about the fact that he can do. As continuing onwards, Evelski's back in this, to be fair. I completely forgot about Evelski. He's got a chance of picking up some points here. But yeah, Rogerwell has sort of got everyone right behind it. Alfred Monk on the mediums. I told you the mediums are good here. I said watch out for the mediums. The mediums might be a better choice, and I think I was right, potentially. I mean, Lucas hasn't done that fully justice, but Alfred's had a really good restart here on those medium tyres. As Rogerwell's going to stay ahead in 3rd place. He's got no penalties. He can chill. But yeah, Alfred's really aggressive on these medium tyres. They're looking really fast. And he's going to be going for the move on David Hoy here. He hasn't got much battery though. Is he going to dive it? He is. David leaves him the space. He's going to be on the outside. Going to get the inside for the next corner. A bit of a tap, but nothing lethal. As Alfred's next target is Rogerwell in the AlphaTauri. And Alfred's looking really quick on the mediums. Okay, I guess I just predicted it right. I just knew from it was Anson's pace earlier in the race, and Mitch is just ghosting through people. Interesting. Caleb White's up to 11th now, is he? He can't get past George Parr. DRS is now enabled. He's going to go for a switch back out the final corner. Can he get this one done on the Aston Martin? No, he can. As Anson's dropping out of DRS. Anson's struggling. Lopage is in going for fastest lap, I assume. As Alfred Monk's going to be putting pressure on Rogerwell soon with, well, yeah, 4 laps to go after this one. 4.5, 4 2/3. Who's going to win the race? Who's going to finish where? I don't know, but again, the mediums are holding up well for Theo Smith. Like, they are really overpowered at Mexico. And it's just working. Oh, Hugo! Oh, he's almost done it again. If you didn't see Hungary last week, Hugo was 2nd place and binned it in a wall. And that was not nice to see. I had a moment of flashbacks there. But it's not going to happen for him. He's not going into the wall. As Alfred Monk literally right on the back of Rogerwell. Rogerwell's got battery to defend. Luckily for him. As David Hoy is going to use his battery to try and get past Alfred Monk. He might even try and launch it on Rogerwell. Alfred completely moves across him there. He was going that way though, to be fair. As here comes the fight for the lead of the race. Hugo does get ahead. Theo Smith's going to go for the better exit. But the grip on the softs there ain't matching. Oh, something's happened. Alfred Monk's had a bit of a wobble. That's going to drop him down to 6th place. As yellow flags, Adam Lapey just binned it. That can't be it's a safety car. Oh, Lassie! Oh! What's just happened there? What the hell have I just watched? This safety car's going in at the end of the... So they're going to catch it and it's just going to go straight in. What is the point of this safety car? No one can really pit. Actually, I guess I can, but... What is going on? I knew this was going to happen. I knew it. I literally said at the start of the race, there's going to be a late safety car and someone's just going to kick off. There's been 2 late safety cars and everything's kicked off. Is anyone going in? Just don't pit. Don't pit. Unless you have to because of damage. But it's just not worth it at this point. No one's going for it, yeah. Smart. These people are clever. They are clever. They have a brain. They've got a brain and they've used their brain. Roger could go for P2 here. Although the front 2 are fantastic this race. Can't knock either of them, and I hope they finish there. On the races that they've had a good scrap at the front. Whew. This is it then. Can Yann and Lassie catch her?
Greetings.
Oh, you've come to join me for the last 3 laps, have you?
Yeah, but it just booted me out of the session, so I need to jump back in here. Because I had to tab out and then my PC had a seizure while it was trying to figure out what the fuck I was doing.
Right, here we go, and the safety car's going to be restarting regardless of the cars catching up, because we're going to have 2 laps left to go here of this race. Safety car is now announced in, and Hugo's going to be leading us away here from Theo Smith, from Rogerwell. The 3 drivers without penalties, other than George Parr, who's done A great job not to pick up track limits, although he did not have the front wing at one point, which is sad for him. Hugo gets a restart this though. Where is he going to go with 2 laps to go is the question. Where is he going to choose? He's got plenty of options, but the safety car's not in the picture, and he is literally right behind it. But is he just going to go simply at the final corner? No, he's not. He has to make it confusing. He's gone now. He's managed to get a good gap to Theo Smith. Roger was right on the back of Theo Smith here, and he's going to deploy all of the battery to try and get past the Mercedes. But the Mercedes have got a really good amount of straight line speed, as David Hoyt is ahead of Alfred Monk. Anson coming in for a late swoop here. He's going to go round the outside of the Williams driver. Is he going to be able to get this one done? Alfred manages to keep ahead of him just for now, as it is very difficult, this race has proved to go side by side through turn 1 and 2, especially into 2. If you can keep it alongside there, then it's mostly dangerous at that point. As Hugo leads us away still at the front. Caleb Boyd fighting his way through here from a race that would look good, then absolutely dropped off. He's just trying to fight for everything at the end here. His teammate's right ahead of him, to be fair. He has recovered to 8th, but is side by side with Lucas Rudford, 9th in the race at the moment. As there's a spin for Rogerwell. Rogerwell's round. And that's completely dropped Rogerwell to the back, but he doesn't have a penalty. So if he could just stay within range, then there's a chance of something. He just needs no mistakes, essentially. But that is...
There's also a definite possibility something kicks off ahead with the cars this close with just one lap left.
Hansen. Oh, is it David?
Oh.
That was close. That was very
David
close. And everyone's just getting a bit closer. Belski's up to 6th. He's almost lost it on the exit of the corner. Oh, he's off the track. Rogerwell's down to 11.
Drive out the final corner though, and he is going to have a look at David Hoyt. 4P4 penalties pending, of course, and he is going to have that inside line. But both of them out of battery already. They've dumped everything on that previous lap, and they're not going to have anything for this last one. If anyone with any kind of charge can cruise up behind them.
I just don't know.
But include Caleb, although Caleb's deployed everything as well and has dropped down to P9. But Rogerwell is within that penalty range, so he is going to jump ahead of one of his championship rivals if it finishes up like this. But we have got guys side by side.
Here comes
looking for a
Caleb. This one's not going to matter. Rogerwell's got a penalty. Oh, everything's fallen apart for the AlphaTauri driver now. And this is just unfortunate to see for him. As Anson might be under pressure from
kind of
Belski,
cruised off at the front and has managed to break the resistance of the...
George Parr's got a penalty as well. Everyone who didn't have one is picking one up here. Go on, just for the fun of it, Hugo or Theo Smith fancy getting one as well. Rogerwell's had to spin. Everything's fallen apart for the Dutch driver. As out the final corner comes Hugo. Now Caleb Boyd has also dropped down. I think he spun as well. Hugo wins the race. Theo Smith second. David Hoyt takes third. Anson takes third.
Oh my.
That's important.
Yeah, Jacob Abelski P4, Lucas Rudd P5, David Hoyt manages P6 afterwards. Of course, there could be quite a lot of stewarding going on here. Sorry, Liam. bit of carnage. But that is going to be first race win of the season for Hugo Nilsson. And Caleb not too happy in the chat.
I didn't realise everyone in front had multiple seconds.
I didn't look. I know everyone around me when we had that second restart that had penalties only had 3 seconds, but with the cars that close on the final couple of laps, it's very easy to pick up a 6th warning or so if that's all you're missing to upgrade that to 6. And when the field's that close, the extra 3 seconds could drop you a lot. That's the kind of thing we see in esports all the time. The field's so close, a single track limit penalty can drop you 5 or 6 places. But it is going to be a Red Bull, Mercedes, and then crucially Alfa Romeo podium. Hugo taking his first win of the season ahead of Theo, and then Anson is going to extend that lead out at the top to...
But no, he's overtaking Caleb now.
Anson was already leading.
No, he wasn't. Caleb was 2 points ahead.
I'm sure Anson was leading the championship.
Right,
but
Well,
it's a 14-point swing versus his teammate and championship rival. Alfred Monk picks up the fastest lap in P7, so we'll get the extra point for that. And Roger Well finishes outside the points.
not really in penalty ranges of anyone either if they were to pick up post-race penalties.
It would have to be either something major or multiple penalties, yeah, to jump Roger Well up into the points, and it would have to be multiple for multiple drivers.
That was...
I would say, do you want to do interviews, but I'm not sure I can stomach Hugo.
I don't want anything to do with that. Anson's going to have a good lead going into the final race, but it's a sprint. That also means, despite winning the race, Hugo can't win the championship anymore. Theo Smith can't win the championship anymore. And Jacob Abelski also can't win the championship anymore. Which means it is just the three of them left.
Spicy. Yeah, with it being a sprint next week in Brazil, that does mean an additional 8 points is up for grabs. So make sure you don't DNF the sprint, boys, because then your rivals are going to gain on you, and you're going to have to start at the back for the full race.
Right, anyways, let's just call this one off, shall we? Oh, I literally said, this race is going to be really calm and there's going to be a late safety car.
Yeah,
That had to
I
be
do
two, didn't
apologise
there?
for that. I was going for a fastest lap and I put the
You've
GRS on too
ruined
early
everything.
coming into the stadium.
You've ruined everything. It was a good fight before, and then you've caused this.
In fairness, both times I was on softs, like the first lap on softs, I got my front wing fucked at turn 2, so...
I was enjoying it before, but yeah.
Yeah, it turns out soft medium's fine at Mexico, by the way, if you were planning on doing it tomorrow.
Anyways, yeah. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.